suck. Okay. Yeah, so I'm running on 3 hours, Brian. I chose violence for everything this morning.
That's okay. I've been catching up for my 3 hours of sleep from all last week.
Thank you, you fucking weirdo. Also, they don't use accents properly in Welsh. Like, they don't. Like, how do you pronounce the first word, smartass?
Hold on, I gotta look it up.
Oh, I talked a lot of shit. I think it's time to go live, isn't it?
Yeah, we're live.
We are live. Oh, even better. Fucking Australians don't even know how to tell you when you're live.
Hasnius na Hamishner. Oh, that's the it's the third one that gets me.
Heimshire?
No, sorry, the fourth one. The fourth one.
Yeah.
You gotta hook up a loogie to really pronounce the
Fuck Welsh, okay? Learn a real fucking language. You fucking sheep motherfuckers.
Sir, if I sent it to you, that's what I'm trying to get him to pronounce.
Let's have a look. Yeah, so my Irish grandmother says that's pronounced fuck off.
Yeah. It's pronounced get fucked.
Fair enough.
No, it's pronounced Siobhan. That's my favorite part of my ancestry.
Yeah, we really are talking shit today.
Well, had Fucko let me know that we were live, I would have had better shit to talk.
No, this is the preferred format of just chaos raining
No wonder
down.
Tori doesn't come on.
She has the link.
Poor Tori, she's just like, oh God, no, they're animals.
It's also 6:30 in the morning.
Not in civilization.
And
I'm okay
greetings, Slam and
9:30 here. It's what,
10:30
p.m. in Australia. What time is it in Australia?
Should be 11.
Just after 11
PM.
In the morning or the night?
PM. Yeah.
Okay, Brian, let the Australians speak for themselves. They also rule in this world. Okay?
I'm just trying to show off how smart I am.
Colonial fucking bullshit, all right? They're already...
They're colonial bullshit. What are you
I know.
Just ask the Aboriginals.
No. Why aren't you throwing Saxius the link? It'd be great to have Sax in here.
But
I can only have like 5 or 6 people.
Let's
I'm
be honest.
What are we being honest about, Brian?
The Australians can breakdance.
What the fuck planet are you on?
Have you not seen the video going around?
No.
Apparently, breakdancing is now an Olympic sport. And the Australian contestant... that's the best I'm going to give her. That's the best I'm going to give her.
Okay.
Apparently has like a doctorate in something with an emphasis in breakdancing.
Yes, because all Aussie universities are full of shit.
Apparently. And
hang on. What's the best university in England?
I don't know. Oxford?
Arguably, Cambridge or Oxford is the argument, right?
Sure. Okay.
What's the best university in America?
Oh, you got Harvard, Yale.
You're going to get a Harvard-Yale argument, usually, unless
yeah.
it's second, then it's going to be MIT, Stanford, right?
Right.
What's the best university in Canada? You don't know you're an American. You don't even know we fucking exist. Other than when you want shit from us.
Well, so what is it?
Well, it's an argument. It'd be between University of British Columbia, York in Toronto, or McGill in Montreal. That would be the argument between those three. They're all considered Canada's Ivy League. Name a university in Australia. Never mind, what's the best one?
University of Sydney.
Australia. University of Canberra? University of Woolloomooloo?
Not Canberra. I mean, the ACT...
Billabong-U?
The ACT...
Gold Coast Polytech? Like, what the fuck are the universities? Like, University of Sydney, is that a university?
I think it's Uni New South Wales.
See? They're even Welsh in their stupidity. It's amazing.
But notice
Wales.
Seraphis doesn't even know.
Even that in his own country, he doesn't even know what the best universities are.
Do you think I give a crap about fucking the East Coast? They're fucking more American than Australian. Fuck them.
The East Coast. I gotta figure out. Hang on, I gotta flip all the compasses in my head because I'm going underneath the world to the bottom.
So
you're in Perth?
Melbourne,
Are you in Perth?
No, South Australia.
You're on the South Coast. You're saying, where are you? What part of Australia are you in?
South Australia.
Give me the biggest city next to you.
Bear, I'll give you an example.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
Bear, I'll give you an example. He's in Texas.
Yeah, he's in the Australian version of Texas. Got it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. There's no guns here.
Well, the geographical equivalent of Texas.
Australia. Ugh, you're like America for the Southern Hemisphere.
Good job, therapist. Well done.
I'd personally say that Flinders University is the best uni in Australia. But
Flinders. What's it?
Flinders.
Flinders. What the fuck is Flinders? Is that like someone's name?
Yes, that was someone's name.
Because it's Australia. That could be like what you call French fries for all we fucking know.
No, we call French fries chips.
Of course you do, because you hang out of that bullshit British thing.
And we call chips.
I like fish and chips.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. The Australian miracle of communication. I like chips with that. Flat ones are wedges. Like, what the fuck? How do you define it in a place that has both when you ask for chips?
You grab a bag or you point to the hot things.
You grab a bag. So that's the other thing. You can just grab shit in Australia. Like, there's no security or safety. Just take what you want. Fuck.
There's usually a checkout before you can walk out the door.
And checkouts at restaurants where you would normally get French fries.
Yeah. They're at the door. You pay as you go out, dude.
No, you pay at your table like a fucking civilized human being. To the waitress.
No, you get out, and as you're walking out, you pay. We have a few restaurants like that here in the States.
Not anymore. Like, I mean, there's like a few.
Like Denny's, IHOP, that kind of stuff.
Denny's pay at the table. I always pay at the table at Denny's. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. Look, maybe it's a Canadian thing. Maybe we're just more fucking civilized.
Yeah, IHOP, we pay at the front counter.
IHOP in Vancouver, pay at the table.
Wow. Yeah, they don't.
Australia is the Florida of the Pacific.
No, I'll tell you one of the reasons why. That it's
pay at the Philippines
at the counter instead of at the table, because they don't have to train the waiters or waitresses on how to count cash or take process.
Oh my God, your country's okay. Sarah, you're off the hook for a bit because the Americans started talking, so now I get to be like do that thing Canadians live for, which is just making fun of America. It's like our fucking. If it was an Olympic sport, we would be gold every time.
Listen, we're still in our education system. We're still trying to push that Common Core math.
So role playing.
Who cares about that?
Well, isn't that what this is? Or are we just supposed to talk shit about things for hours on end? Hi, I'm running on 3 hours sleep, had a migraine and then a headache all night. So I'm.
Yeah, how is the migraine now? Is it better?
It's just a headache. The melatonin hasn't cleared out my system, so I'm still groggy as fuck. And maths, put an S on the end. Come on, man. Don't be an American. Yeah. Why isn't Saxis in here, man? You can put it up to 6 people. Sax is awesome. Sax will actually keep us talking as opposed to, me filling the air with nonsense and the two Brians quipping in from time to time.
Well, I guess a Dane living in Britain is better than you three. So, okay, fine.
I agree.
Fight him.
100% agree. A Dane living in Britain is better than the 3 of us combined.
I spent 2 weeks there.
No one fucking cares, Brian. My bed's a race car. Is your bed a race car?
This is what I get for having Bear on, isn't it? Just...
Okay, yeah. Fuck you.
Hey, come on. You're on my show.
I'll shut up and let the charisma crew talk for a while.
So I've had fun at the used bookstore this week, clearly.
Yeah, you have. He keeps sending me pictures like it's porn, and I keep drooling like it's porn. And I'm talking like, I mean, this is some really good books.
For the record, folks, it's not porn.
Yeah.
I hate to break news to you, it is totally fucking porn. when you're showing me Facet Trek books, it's like,
I know, right?
You know, please, my dick can't get any harder, Brian. Like,
I'm still looking for. I actually still need to total up the stuff I have for you, but
please, so I can pay you while I have money still.
I'm clearly worried about getting the money.
Yeah, I'm clearly worried about. Okay, so here's what you don't understand, and I think the other two. Either of you got any Irish ancestry?
I've got a little bit somewhere.
A little bit, just a little bit. Sarah, any at all?
Grandma was a McManus.
Well, you're an Aussie. There's a really good chance you have Irish ancestry.
My maternal grandmother was Irish.
So my grandmother
born
was
in
Irish.
Ireland.
Same, and Jesse Mann. Though the English here call it Mahan because they don't understand that M-A-H-A-N is man. Because again, as we were talking earlier, Celts can't fucking spell. But anyway, the point being, we don't like owing people money. It bothers us.
You cold? I'm here to talk about that. Why not?
The Danes love other people owing them money.
Oh, I love that. I mean, I can go through my country's history. We had the Crusades. We didn't participate. We just taxed people for getting through our lands. Then we sold them stuff so that they could go crusading. And that's just like the first of my books of what my country's contributed. We then had like the whole Dane guilds, just like a little bit of visitations to the UK, visitations to France. The Swedes then decided to move down the rivers of Russia, go down into, I don't know, somewhere. We don't really know about these places. They call themselves the Rus people, something like that. Yeah, who knows what happened with them? So we're here to talk about what role playing, taxes, Excel. I'm down.
Apparently we're here just shit talk. Apparently that's all Sarah wants is just shit talk.
All right. Well, what's the topic of shit that we shall be talking?
I say the UK. None of us are British.
I don't know.
And literally all of us, or at least the English speaking part of this panel that are like native English speakers, we all have axes to grind with the UK. You live there, so I'm presuming you have an axe to grind because you're stuck with these fucking pricks.
Yes, I certainly do have my unhappiness about it, but I've also decided that since I am living here, that I should just suck it and get on with it.
So you've become an Englishman. That's perfect.
What am I going to do? Leave?
Frankly, I can't stand the man. No.
And let's
what
be
you going to
honest,
do? Move to
Axis,
Canada?
Yes, we have lots of space. You're all welcome to come here as long as you leave your guns and your bullshit attitudes behind.
Didn't I tell you that I was interested in moving to Canada and you told me, oh, don't do that. You won't like it here.
I like my guns and bullshit attitude.
Listen, Americans constantly say they want to move to Canada. Every 4 fucking years, we have to put up with the endless amount of people going, well, if my guy doesn't win, I'm moving to Canada. None of them ever do.
No.
Just go through the process.
Hold on. It's only the people who pretty much agree with your country politically.
Oh, no.
I've not seen anyone on the right say it.
Because you guys are fucking echo chamber locked. That's the problem with your country. You don't understand how one-sided your news feeds are based on who you are and what you do politically. It's insane.
We understand.
We, in Canada, see all of it. Like it's like it's just like monkeys throwing shit across the border at us nonstop. It's insane. So we get to watch the whole fucking show happen. That's why there's that fantastic meme of a family of moose in a wading pool while a house is on fire across the street, and it says Canada watching the United States. And it's like it's so accurate because it's exactly how we feel. Every time you fucking guys come here, within 6 months to a year, all we hear from the Americans here is, fucking Canada bullshit. You guys are bullshit with this. You bullshit with that. You fucking bullshit. Yeah, because we don't let you shoot everybody. We don't let you punch everybody in the face. We don't let you fucking drive on the wrong side of the road like a fucking asshole. Like,
Bear, and I get that. I'm just saying the only people I've ever heard saying, oh, if my guy doesn't win, I'm moving to Canada, are the people who I would generally...
Democrats. You're saying Democrats.
Right.
Yeah, except when Obama was running and about to win, we heard nothing but Republicans talking about how they were moving to Alberta.
I never heard that, and man, I still wouldn't do
it. We heard a lot.
Okay,
of
that's
it.
fair. Anyways, Zach
We had
go.
comedians doing skits saying, "Do not come here. Here's why you will hate our country."
I want to move there, not from a political point of view, but because I got to get out of this damn heat. I want cold, cool weather. What are the mosquitoes? What are the insects like up there?
Insane.
Hungry.
birds.
Ah,
No.
never mind.
Okay, before Sax forgets, Sax, go.
Well, I was just going to say, we hear the same stuff, between Denmark and Sweden, except it's the Swedes are basically going like, I'm going to get a job in Denmark because they've got a stronger currency. So they just travel a little bit over, get our money, then leave. And then we, on the other hand, we go like, well, I've got to spend all this delicious money. So we go up into Sweden where it's nice and cheap, and then just waste our money there. And then we go home. It's a lovely, like, symbiotic thing. Like, we get cheaper labor, they get money. Like, it's a win-win. Well, why can't we just do it like that? Just migrate from the United States up to Canada, take their money, come back down, spend it there.
Because it's only worth like half of what ours is.
Grumpy's Clan is singing a song from Ontario, which is the black flies, the little black flies. Always the black flies picking my bones in North Ontario. You go to fucking North Ontario, which is most of Ontario, and you will be fucking eaten alive. Like, it is insane how many black flies they have. And you guys have black flies in the States? And when I say black flies, I mean it's a very specific type of blood-sucking insect, not flies that happen to be black.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
we
have.
have-
Not in Arizona.
Yeah.
Wait, Arizona doesn't have what? Do y'all have mosquitoes? Ticks?
Yeah, but it's not like if there's not really any standing water, which it's Arizona, there's not a lot of
Arizona,
standing
yeah.
water.
That's fair.
But you go, like, if I go to the park, well, it has a pond in the middle, so generally there's a few more mosquitoes there. But by my house, we get them, but it's like I'm not constantly being swarmed.
Apparently the secret is to build a bat habitat on your property, because one bat can eat like 150,000 mosquitoes a month or something like that.
And
one
we've
fucking
tried.
bat.
We've tried that here, and we've got enough property to be able to do that and sustain some bats, but they just don't show up.
Have you
Not
done the
trying to
dragon-
dox
have
you,
done
but
the
where
dragon
are you?
fly?
Y'all were talking at the same time. I didn't hear.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was saying, not trying to dox you, but where generally are you?
Oh, me? I'm in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's in
That's
hell.
the best place.
He's in
Yeah.
a hot, grubby, nasty hell.
Where it's pretty much 90% humidity every day.
Also, a state named by the French, which is spelled Arkansas, but is pronounced Arkansas because the French get tired of saying words as they're saying them.
Yeah.
Arkansas. Like, that's how that works. Dragonflies, dude. You can, if you set up dragonfly habitat on your property,
And we have thousands of dragonflies here, yeah. And they
and
definitely...
that's why you don't have billions of mosquitoes,
Yes.
then only millions.
Right.
I'm just getting images of dragonflies being used as mounts for tabletop games. So as no one else considered that in their games.
Oh, no, we
So
did.
I tried talking about RPGs before you got here, Sax, and I was told that that's not what this show is about. So good
I
luck.
know, but I'm sure we can wrangle the lot of them in here. I mean, I'm sure Brian has got a few fun things to bring in. That's
Well, I think
riveting.
that's
dragonflies
debatable.
could be great mounts for fairies.
This
Exactly.
Brian, yes, that Brian. I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
Depends on the day.
I've got two Brians here, so either way, I'm going to get someone to respond.
It's an interesting concept, but if you're talking like regular dragonflies, then yes, you've got to be playing a game of fairies or other tiny creatures or whatever, which doesn't really grab me.
Ferngully.
For a much
What about the
better
legs?
version of Avatar, in my opinion.
I don't know. I thought Dances with Wolves was the better version of Avatar. Oh yeah, we can do this. So should I bring up what we were talking about pre-show and see how that conversation goes?
Sure.
D&D is fucking role playing with training wheels. The everything the guys in the OSR say about it's not on your sheet, it's in your head is done better by almost every other fucking role playing game out there that isn't trying to be D&D. And once you get past this Bobo class level baby la stuff, you'll actually get into a world of role playing where you have to think what your character does because you have skills as opposed to abilities and things. So if the guys in the OSR that like to rhyme on about how they think modern D&D is fucking easy, they need to understand all D&D is easy compared to, say, Call of Cthulhu or I don't know, pick a game that doesn't
Traveler.
have classes and levels. Traveler, there we go. You know what I mean? So there you go. That's my fucking theorem. Go ahead, gentlemen. What do you think?
You haven't lived till you've died in character creation.
Oh yeah, that's actually fun. No, I do agree with that. See,
Paranoia.
no, man. But like, I do like the whole thing of like you roll on the table, you write, roughly a quick paragraph or a quick 2 or 3 lines for what happened at that point in your character, and then you sort of go on like you do in a Traveler, and again you have like a 75% chance of dying in character creation. I mean, I've had mine had acid thrown at him. One of his legs was broken and never healed. He was just maimed.
Traveler.
I think it was Traveler. Yeah.
Is that a new modernization part of Traveler? Because in the old days you just died.
No,
you didn't get to roll for, and here's your colorful death. It was just, you didn't make your survival roll, start a new character.
Well, and that's the way it was with Paranoia as well. I mean, one person if you had 5 people creating a character, one person was going to die during character creation.
But so I think that's fun because it generates a little bit more character to the character that you're playing. They're coming in with more than just, I decided to do a Luke Skywalker and just leave the farm and go out and become a hero. It's like you've got a little bit of life behind you, which brings out some more character that you can work with, some backstory that you can bring in, and not all of it has to be revealed.
But if they died, how the fuck does any of this matter?
No, but if they died, then that's I agree that like killing the character in character creation, that's not constructive in the grand scheme of things. I just think it's a fun side thing.
No, but I'm just saying, like, hey guys, this is my character Steve. He lived. Awesome. But let me tell you about the 8 characters who died that I made and the ways they died.
So Bear, the underlying mechanic there is you're not safe. You've got to think. You can't just like in D&D. I'm just going to blindly run into this room and swing a sword. So dying in character creation more or less forces the individual to go, oh, okay, let me think about my actions here because I'm playing a very deadly game.
Well, and also,
go on.
I was gonna say also it's sort of a push your luck mechanic.
Yeah,
because with my understanding in Original Traveler is there wasn't any character advancement, so whatever you got during creation is what you had throughout the game. So it's this is me. I've never played. This is what I've just gathered from.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember because I didn't play long enough. Gee, I guess we should talk to the resident fucking expert of Traveler and get him on here, huh?
I don't know who that is, but
yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
The cockwomble.
Oh no. But so that's the thing is, so it's like, do you want to do another term of service and potentially die and then have to start from zero, or do you want to just stop creating your character now and stick with what you've got? So that's I think that's the thing on the death.
Modern Traveler got rid of that and then brought it back, but there was a period of time where they got rid of the character death in Traveler because people were whining about it.
No idea.
I can understand the concept behind it. For Traveler, that's not really what appealed to me. I really liked the ship creation, but I also liked what came with the ship, creation, the requirement for having Excel sheets, the need for maximizing your utilization, and then everything that came thereafter, which was the space exploration and the similar to Age of Sail, where you basically go out, find jobs, and you would just have to, in an odd way, have a job in your role-playing game.
So Bears Eye Theater proudly presents Playing Traveler with Oscar. Yeah, I know, guys. I know. We could go to the adventure that is over that way, But we have a cargo hold full of trilithium, and if we go to this system instead, we can get 13% profit on it. Doesn't
Listen,
that sound better than
You have
doing the
seen my
adventure?
recent video where I was talking about space logistics and accountancy. Legitimately, I got kind of excited when I was going through that. I was going like, oh, we can also talk about. You could see when I was going through, like, okay, here's how you make your agreements, and then by the rolls, here's the percentile increments. You can go in both directions. You know, if you roll really poorly, the price goes down. You might still get the contract, but if you do really well in your sale,
I
you might
just
get the
want to
price
shoot
up.
androids in the face, please.
No, wrong system, wrong game. Get on track. No, I need your tax forms.
No, I
Make your
want
tax forms.
to be an Aslan slave, okay? I want Vargur to feast on my bones, please.
I think I want to play Oscar's game.
Wow. Well, you know, it is fantasy role-playing for an Australian to have a game that has an actual economy in it, so that's okay.
Hey, we had an economy when the
Yeah,
GFC
sure.
happened.
Yeah.
We had the only economy.
Yeah, okay, because everybody else went to shit didn't mean you were good. It just meant you went to less shit than everybody else, dude. Come on.
No, we would have had a better economy, except you know, the guys over here, their government fucked us over.
Really, I wouldn't know what that's like living next door to them, being stuck in fucking bullshit free trade agreements with them in Mexico. I have no fucking clue.
Joy, oh joy.
Just remember this, everybody in the world, for all your bitching about Americans, try being their neighbors. It's a different world. There's a great fucking story from when Reagan's first term in presidency happened, and there was a meeting of, I think it was NATO, and the prime minister of France met with Reagan and then went to Pierre Trudeau and started talking to him in French because they could talk in French and no one would understand them in the rest of the meeting. And apparently he said to Trudeau, he's like, I just finished talking to this Reagan fellow. He's very terrifying because he literally said to me he didn't understand why most of the world didn't want to be just like the Americans. And apparently Trudeau said, try living next door to him. It's just like that shut up France in one shot. Like, oh yeah, no, that sucks. Yeah, we live in fear of them, like absolute abject terror. We love them. They're great. They're our big brother. We're family. Like you, Australia. We're all children of England, right? And we love them. They're amazing. But we have this fucking, they're going to get drunk one night and just drive their fucking Cadillac through the front door. You know what I mean? Like it's going to happen. Hey, Canada, we're out of water. Get out. You know, it's just fuck. We're terrified of them.
See, not to keep going on that political aspect, but we have the same problem, except that they're going to start something with China.
Yeah, you guys, yeah.
We'll get
you're living next to that shit show.
Yeah.
Do you guys now? Do the two Brians understand what you guys live in, what you're part of?
Oh, we're very well aware of it. But,
okay, good. I mean, just checking.
You know, how do you change something that you're born into? I mean, you know, I just screw it. You know, I'm just going to go I'm going to move to Zimbabwe. Is that going to be better?
No.
You know, I mean, what do you do?
The water, you know,
penis parasites.
Certain parts of the U.S. you can't drink the water either.
What was that, Seraphis?
Isn't that the place with the little penis parasite things?
No, that's South America.
That's wrong.
And it's an urban myth. That's like your drop bears. It's not real.
No,
but they tell people it is.
Seraphis, this is going to be hard to believe, but grubs are not real. As much as I want them to be.
We have snipes here in America.
Snipe hunting? Yeah, I know about snipe hunting. We do that here too.
Okay. Oh, they've migrated up there?
Yeah. Do you two know what snipe hunting is, Aussie and Euro? Do you guys know what it is? It's this bullshit thing you do in the country with city folk, which is you take them out snipe hunting and you give them a bag and you leave them in the woods and you say, now you wait here. We're going to go herd the snipe toward you. And when the snipe come charging through, you just get the bag on the biggest one you can get. And you just leave them in the fucking woods and go have a beer.
Or you start chucking rocks at them.
Wow, Arizona plays on a very mean level. I'm just saying.
I was a Boy Scout. Where do you think I learned about snipe hunting?
Every now and again, you go, 200, 300, 400 feet away. You shout as loud as you can, "They're coming!" And then you shoot your gun.
I play mean.
So snipe hunting is mostly innocent in Canada and highly unlikely to death. I just want that up on the record. Unless the weather turns suddenly, you're pretty safe. In the States, rocks, bullets, meh. Who knows?
Well, I
Is
mean,
there,
hey,
is there a
if
Danish
you're in the middle
equivalent
of,
this stupidity? I'm sorry, go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say, if you're in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, and the term hunting comes in, yeah, you can pretty much guarantee somebody's going to be bringing a gun with them.
Oh no, we have guns. We just don't randomly fire them into the air for shits and giggles.
Oh, that would be Texas.
Look at that.
We somehow learned physics was a thing.
Yeah.
And that bullet was coming back.
Yep.
Somewhere.
I can't think of anything equivalent in Denmark.
You don't take people troll hunting or some shit?
Oh, actually, no, I did do that as a kid. That was an actual activity that my parents signed me up to. That was fun.
What?
No, yeah, like it was the whole mythology of like, oh no, there are trolls out in the woods, so you now have to go out and find them. And they had set it all up for like kids. Like you'll find troll droppings, you'd find like a troll hut. There'll be outgravings into the trees of like Scandinavian trolls and how they'll be looking.
That just sounds harmless and fun.
Yeah, you know, it'll be fine. Like nothing happened of that form. No, what we ended up doing, what I remember that I did, again, I left Denmark when I was 12. So in that short period of time, we just did things like asked ourselves how many guys can hold on to the electric fence. And we just sort of went from there.
Oh, we do that too.
Yeah, no, that's like we did that, and it's like okay.
Yeah, you the voltage is so high, you definitely don't want to pee on the electric fence.
Now, the one so the one thing that was it's not funny, but it was such a regular occurrence in where I grew up, because I grew up by the sea. It was the whole thing of like if you feel the current takes you, you know, you just gotta go with it and go out and around, come back in. A lot of people didn't understand how that works, so it would often be the locals, i.e., myself and others. When we would see people like being taken out by the current, we'd have to like, okay, it's time to go and save the tourists. I have to go out and swim and get them back in.
Yeah, where I grew up, we had an undertow that was pretty fucking brutal, and there was more than a few tourists that would ignore the "don't swim here." There's an undertow sign, and well, sadly, there was no swimming out to fucking save them. There was just waiting for the body to wash back up. You know,
yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Sadly,
We have beaches.
I'm sorry, what?
We have beaches.
Yeah,
we
you have
too.
beaches.
Yeah.
We do too. We just ours aren't filled with fucking poisonous things trying to eat us.
No, I assume you don't have like 12 feet tall waves that comes crashing down on you either.
But Bear,
We do some
Sometimes.
places. If you go to the West Coast, we have that too. Out to Fino,
Lovely.
there's some great surfing and stuff like that.
Lovely.
Bear, it's not just the sea creatures that are trying to eat them in Australia.
Oh,
It's
no, the
everything
boulders are
in the
too.
country.
Including the Australians. Yes, we know.
What Australians? I thought we were all from Argentina.
I was saying,
Oh my
Australia's not real.
Argentina. You're all fucking transplanted Irish rebels. That's all you are.
I am not. I am
Hey.
proudly a descendant of a retired pirate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because that's the other people that the English threw in that fucking hole.
Retired.
Retired pirates. There was
Hey, not a convict.
I've told this story before, but I think it's one of my favorite stories. There was an RPG writer named Nigel Findley from Vancouver, sadly no longer with us. And apparently he went to Australia for a convention one time, and it was an 18-hour flight he got stuck on where they went all the way, stopped everywhere along the fucking Pacific, rim, and then eventually Australia. And he was a smartass. He was a Canadian. And he got to customs, and they were like, "Do you have anything to declare?" And he's like, "No." Any fruit and veg? No. Any animals? No. You have a criminal record? To which he said, "I didn't realize that was still a prerequisite to get onto this continent."
Oh.
And apparently they didn't find that funny, and they took him to a little room and put on the gloves and gave him the full welcome to Australia.
Is that who that was?
I've done something similar. When I was flying back from Denmark to the UK, I was asked, why are you coming to this country? And I said, well, I've got a mortgage and I have to pay some taxes. Thankfully, the customs officer laughed and found it funny.
Nice.
Like, get in here.
I still love that bit in Snatch. Do you have anything to declare? Yeah, don't go to fucking England.
Oh, that's a good one. No.
Yeah, there is some good down this East Coast land, but there's places where you get warm water as well. If you go down like what's it called, the strait between PEI and New Brunswick, there's some beautiful warm water down there. Down around Shediac. Beautiful, but the jellyfish are fucking brutal in August. Like, okay, forgive me, Sarafis. The tiny little things that'll give you an ouchie are very brutal in August, as opposed to whatever the fuck lives in the oceans of Australia that are there to fucking turn you into
those jellyfish are
zombie.
sentient, highly intelligent. They grab you and drag you down into the water where they nom.
And then, like with bang, they burrow their tentacles into your nervous system and take control of the jelly thing on the back of your
So
head.
you walk back out of the water. You've now got a jellyfish hat, and no one's the wiser. See, that's just Australia.
All hail Hypnotoad.
Yeah, no, I'm writing this down. This is good stuff.
Yeah, this is a great idea. Go for it. Write it down. See, now, if you told people that shit instead of drop bears, you'd have a much better sell. Because people are scared of the ocean by nature. So if you told them that is the Aussie blueback gill jelly, she'll get your tentacles in and start taking you over. You know, they'll be like, "Oh, really?"
I'm just
but we
terrified
can't
of
tell the truth.
It's the whole idea about the sea. It's the idea that if you look down and you see, nothing but the darkness, and then you see an eye open up and looking back at you before it closes, like that. That to me is. That makes me go, yeah, no, thank you. I'll stay.
Well, that's what Lovecraft is, right? That's what Lovecraft is all about. Is the whole idea of these places that are completely devoid of civilization, and then what the fuck lives in them, right? Like the ocean, the Antarctic.
Why is there
England.
a megalithic temple, in the middle of
nowhere?
Yeah, right. In the middle of Antarctica.
What's just as scary as harking back to like Lovecraft's story of Dagon, is the whole idea that the sailor is just on like a raft. He doesn't know that he suddenly traveled into another dimension. He just did. And all of a sudden, the monoliths are there, the soggy lands are there, and he sees Dagon rising from the sea. And the whole concept of like one moment you are in the real world, the next one you are in the astral plane, and you don't know what happened. That's just as terrifying that you suddenly are thrusted into a world that you have got no concept of. You've got no baseline for how it functions, what's up and what's down.
But that's kind of like me on a Tuesday.
But this is a byproduct of Christianity, right? Like that's what people fail to understand, is that cosmic horror is a byproduct of Christianity, because Christianity teaches you that you have a personal relationship with the divine. Mm-hmm. Cosmic horror teaches you that you are irrelevant to the divine. They don't even know you exist, and they will just step on you as they're walking through your neighborhood, right? Yeah. So that's a level of horror that anyone who is raised in a sort of a Western Christian mentality, it's a fundamental horror, because it goes back to something that was programmed into them as children to believe that they are being watched at all times by a benevolent God. So what is more horrific than a power that you cannot stand against that does not give a fuck about your existence? That's terror. That's pure terror.
Sounds like politicians to me.
And that's why the first Alien movie, Alien, is cosmic horror. Because there's this fucking rock in the middle of space with this fucking horrific thing on it that landed there. It's not even indigenous. And it doesn't give a shit about you other than to use you as food or breeding material, right? Like, that's all you're there for. You could be a dog, you could be a human, you could probably be a fish, and they'd figure the fucking facehugger could plant in a fish. That's cosmic horror. It's why Alien post-Aliens. So Alien and Aliens, great, because they go back to the same place in Aliens, so you can understand why there's all that shit there. But when they start doing the other stuff since, where it's everywhere you go in that fucking universe, there's a fucking facehugger, there's a fucking xenophobe, a xenomorph all over the place. It loses the horror. It loses the cosmic indifference of it all. It loses that feeling of you are nothing in this vastness. You are irrelevant for all of your accomplishments, for all of your pyramids you've built, and all of your spaceships and all of your space colonies. You are nothing to the universe. You are a fucking rust spot. Go ahead.
Say something new that I haven't said to myself in the mirror.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. Scandinavians do have a very particularly dark view of the world. That's true. Like, why is every Scandi horror story about people just vanishing in the woods and then them trying to figure out what the fuck happened? Like, everyone I've seen.
I mean, no, that's not a good example. I was gonna say no. We do have some good comedies, and I was about to say The Green Butchers. I was like, no, that's not. It's a comedy, but it's about two butchers who start killing people and selling human flesh because they don't know how to make it, and they think, yeah. I don't know. Like it's just the fact that like me as a kid growing up in Denmark. When you're raised with the whole concept of like when you see fog, that's because the hags out in the forest they're brewing potions and children has gone missing. If you see you know mist around in what's it called in the forest and you're still in the middle of the day, it means that trolls are entering into the world, or that if you have a funny smell in the woods, you should be running because there's going to be someone's out there a creature's going to be coming and eating you, or magic is in the air. Like that's the sort of things that we grew up with, where the terrors of nature is out there and the things that that will get you is there. So that's what I grew up with, and that's why like I think it's just funny when it's dark.
Most people ask why evil exists. Scandis ask why good exists. There you go.
No, I'm sorry.
There you go. But it's also the lack of a native indigenous people. That doesn't help you, because if you come to Canada and the US, we don't fear the wilderness. We know the wilderness is dangerous, but we don't write as much horror about the wilderness anymore because we've spent enough time in it. We've dealt with the native people who have taught us about it and things like that. Whereas you go all over Europe, and it's just white people who move there, living in trees, really scared of the fucking trees. Like it's amazing how terrified you guys are of the land you live in.
Yeah, it's like it's not until like we start getting into like things like the Bronze Age where we properly cultivated land by just basically going like, is that a forest over there? Yeah, that's good land. Chop it all down.
Yeah, we got this thing called an axe. We made it with bronze. Let's go kill those fucking trees.
Exactly.
The trees know what they did.
Listen. It's not our fault that the treants took forever to actually try and fight back. I'm just saying.
I thought it was because they took so long to say something.
Exactly. Like we just understood that we have to be the masters of our future, and that means dominating the land. So fight the treants on their home turf when they least expect it.
On their home turf.
They least expect it. Jesus Christ. Oh, come, Hansel, let us have a picnic in the woods. Yeah, what beautiful trees. And then, fuck these trees. I thought you were here for a picnic.
Is that why there's so many huntsmen in those stories?
Yeah, that and, other things that needs to be hunted.
Wolves.
Yeah.
Wolves, that's my favorite. That's my favorite part. We have like a deep, abiding respect for wolves in North America. We're like, wolves, they're important and cool, and we love them. Europeans, wolves, they eat our babies. Kill them at all costs.
A wolf is in the distance. Up. Would you look at that? Get your pitchfork, get your torches. We're going hunting now.
Yeah.
It's like Beauty and the Beast. Just look at how that village reacted when they learned that there was a wolf-like creature nearby. It's like, can't have that. Not in our territory.
Gaston did nothing wrong.
Look at Eastern Europeans, right?
You joke, Brian. You joke. No. He did nothing wrong.
No, I saw something hilarious about Gaston, where they were breaking down like he's trying to be a good like he's presented as just this asshole, but no, he's trying to be a good provider. He keeps telling all the thoughts, nope, get away from me. I want the quote unquote good girl over here.
Yeah, he wants a traditional,
Yeah. So like he is very much, maligned in that story.
It's always perspective, right? So when I was doing the international dating thing online, which I don't do anymore because it's boring. But COVID, how are you going to kill time when you're locked in your apartment and you're single? Talk to women in other countries. And South American women would constantly be calling me, because, shaved head, Homer. And I was Homer. They were constantly calling me Homer from The Simpsons. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's so rude. What is wrong with you people? And then this one Colombian girl explained it to me. She goes, no, you need to understand how we see Homer versus how you guys see Homer. I said, what do you mean? She says, Homer is a good man who won't cheat on his wife, works a terrible job just to make sure his family has a roof over their head and his kids are taken care of and they're fed. Yep. And that to us is the ultimate man. And I'm like, wow, in our culture, Homer's an idiot wage slave who is dumb as a fucking fence post and, la, 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 la. And it's like, what a fucking difference those cultural references will make. So like wolves, people, things like that. And it's for me, it's one of the great tragedies of our modern society that we have access to such levels of communication, but we're all too busy arguing over Taylor Swift. Like Jesus Christ, we are missing out on something. Go ahead, Sarah. Sorry. Who?
Seraph, were you saying something?
Sorry, In Excess. We're busy arguing over In Excess. Who's better, In Excess or Ice House? That's our argument that we're having.
What?
The Americans have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, like In Excess and something else.
Ice House.
What's this?
Ice House is one of the biggest Australian bands ever in the history of Australia.
Okay.
They had 2 hits in the West.
Midnight Oil as well. Yeah.
Midnight Oil are a bunch of prats. Fuck Midnight Oil. A bunch of white fucking apologists. That's what those guys are. They're the proto of what woke is today. I went back and I listened to a bunch of their music and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. This is like really fucking white guilt shit, isn't it? Ugh. It's bouncy and it's good, but man, and that said, you guys have a much different relationship with your natives than I think everybody else does.
I mean, it's not like we tried to single-handedly exterminate them.
We tried that too. We just failed horribly. And then they all moved to Canada, which is the best part. There's this famous story. I think it was Sitting Bull, which is the one, or Geronimo. It's one of them, one of the big famous chiefs of the native thing. They agreed to relocate to Canada, or as they called it the grandmother's house, referring to the Queen Victoria, and as the grandmother. And when they arrived at the Canadian border, there was an entire Union cavalry division escorting this mass amount of natives to the border. And when they got to the Canadian border, there were 2 Northwest Mounted Police sitting on horses waiting for them. And the Union guys were like, what are you doing? There's 1,000 of these guys. And they're like, yep, and welcome to Canada. It was, and they couldn't understand why. And apparently the chief said, we respect the laws of the grandmother's house, because at that point in time, England hadn't fucked them on a treaty yet. Now, England would go on to fuck them on a treaty at some point in the future, because that's what England did. But at that point, they hadn't. Yeah, so Sitting Bull. There we go, Sitting Bull. But it's a really it's a huge piece of Canadian history and culture, is that we had a great relationship with our First Nations for a long time until England kind of fucked it. The same thing you guys did in Australia. Fuck them over for land, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the Americans were a little more brutal about it. No offense, guys. I can't really comment on that. I mean, I've just got the history between Denmark and Sweden and Norway, and then the redheaded stepchild that we call Finland these days.
I fucking love how shitty you guys are to Estonia. That's my favorite part of this whole fucking thing.
They keep on going like, come on, we let us in. Like we're Scandinavians. Like, no, you're not.
No, you're not. Even though we get our blue eyes from you, no. Hey, Scotland, want to join?
Now that one I do disagree with. I completely disagree. We should not be letting Scotland in. They've got nothing in relationship to us. Like that's just.
No, I know, but it's just hilarious that Estonia, who are clearly Scandinavian, you guys are like, fuck them. And Scotland, which are not Scandinavian, other than the rape that you guys did for a couple hundred years there.
Even then, that. The accounts of the Vikings, whenever they would go to Scotland, was like, the land is terrible, the people are terrible slaves, we don't like it there, the weather is worse. Why do we go there? It's like, it's just closer. Like it's just closer.
It's just close.
So it's like all their accounts is basically the Vikings go like it's easier to just sail over, hit Scotland, do a little bit of beatings over there, and be like, okay,
Warm
what
up.
did we get out?
It's like
Yeah, it's
stretch.
just like what did we get out of it? Oh, we just got to boost to our testosterone. Let's just go down south, steal some more, and then like go back up. It was just
So basically, Scotland was the warm up before the workout that was Ireland and or England. Perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Just that's how we see the two grocery stores here. We've got one that's really, really good, but it's like 13 miles away. We've got another one that's not so good, not a very good selection, but it's like a mile away. So we usually just go to the closer one and suffer.
yeah. Ireland's also a fun one because it's just one of those darker periods where you once again see Denmark sort of going, but we can optimize this.
We can optimize this.
It's not a safe for work topic, but it's where they just sort of went, we've beaten them all. We can now sell them, and we can populate them because they're in high demand in the Mediterranean.
Sucks. The only reason why I'm not taking offense to that is because I'm more angry with the English than I am with the Danes.
Sarah, have you ever heard my explanation of the three primary branches of Vikingdom?
Possibly.
So you got the Norwegians. Their purpose in the Viking Kingdom was, I want to kill those guys. Let's send the Norgies in because they'll just kill everything in the fucking room and maybe wear its skull as a hat. We will find out when we get there. Then you have the Swedes, which are you geek bastards going to betray us again and stage a fucking back attack as we're engaged in this, or are you going to get along? We don't know. And then you have the Danes who are like, yeah. All this is great. I love it. Let's go. But can we make some money off it too? How do we monetize this? Like the fucking Danes.
We were the marketeers of the Vikings. That's why I said, like, that's why when we showed up into Ireland, once it was all done and dusted, it was like we could optimize this. We have we have some stolen Iron Age Excel sheets, like those little tick boxes one.
Was it your lot then that was responsible for Normandy?
So that was the Norwegians.
Okay.
Yeah, the Norwegians were the ones who basically went into northern France, beat the snot out of the French, and the French went, hey, listen, just take the land, but become our vassal. You can fight however we want. We're like, hey, that's a good. We'll do that.
We have a crazy idea, but what we're going to do is we're going to give you all of this coast, and you protect it.
Yeah. No, that is actually a fun thing. So the Normans were former Vikings hired by the French to protect the French from Vikings. It was basically hire the enemy to fight off your enemy, and they loved it.
Oh yeah.
And they then went on to become an elite state because they took their military thing like so seriously, and they were funded by France. So they just went, okay, we're going to take this seriously. It's not just a side gig now; it's now serious.
Now, where I and Grumpy Old Slan live, Quebec, the vast majority of Quebecois are Norman French. So you can imagine how rational and well thought out things are here.
I can see the pro and con lists just in every house.
Oh yeah.
Pro,
and then you find out 80% of them are all descended from like the same 10 families, and it's just disturbing. This fucking province.
So there's a lot of club wielders walking around. Then
we have legit hillbillies in the woods. Like I'm not even joking.
We do too.
Yeah, but everyone knows you do. Like that's the point. No one expects us to. No one expects there to be French Canadian hillbillies, but there are.
Well, yeah, that's what the Sasquatch are.
That's Cajun.
No. That's Acadian. Acadians aren't Norman. Acadians are not Norman French. And those are also swamp crawlers. Those are a whole other beast. We have literally in the wilds of Quebec, we have villages of super inbred French Canadian families that have been there for generations. And they are like mountain people, for like lack of a better term. They're legitimately. Now we can't call them hillbillies because that's your term. So we'll call them Guillaume de Colin, which is like Hill Williams. But there you go. I mean, it's fucked up. It's creepy. Where I grew up in the Gaspésie, which is the very end of the Appalachians, believe it or not, it's called the Chickasha Mountains. There's some fucking, you go back, so it's all based on the ranges. So first range, second range, third range, fourth range. As you're going back, you get back to the fourth range, and there are some fucked up places. Like, they make the Scottish Highland tales sound like fucking fairy tales by comparison to what's going on back there. It's creepy shit. Oh, the Solar Temple. You guys remember the Solar Temple thing? They had a whole fucking existence in Quebec, living out in the woods and having their little fucking cult villages and all that kind of stuff. Canada is a strange fucking place. But because we don't have a film industry worth shit here that tells our own stories, we don't get to share it as much as you guys do. And that's one of the nice things America's able to do, is that you've mysticized your own people to the point where the West looks a lot better on film than it actually was. If you read the actual existence in the Old West and how horrific it was, you know, you never see that in a Western. You never see how fucking disgustingly horrific it is. And now look where Brian lives, in Arizona. They got malls and air conditioning. You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole other fucking world now. But I bet you everybody wears cowboy hats around that part of the world still, don't they? No, maybe not in the city, but outside the city, I bet they do. Because you go up through Utah and all that area, you see tons of cowboy hats. Tons of cowboy hats. Even up in fucking Wyoming and Montana, you see that. I guess Arizona's just weird.
No, I mean, you see it. Usually, if somebody's wearing a cowboy hat, they're pretending to be a cowboy. Like,
I didn't say they were real cowboys. I just said that, like, you see a lot of the guys in the rural areas wearing cowboy hats. I mean, we even get that in Alberta.
When I go through rural areas, it's usually like ball caps.
Yeah, that's fair.
So.
Maybe since the 90s it's changed. Western film is a descendant of all those painters who romanticized the West back in the 1800s. That's fair. Also, Monument Valley isn't that big, but boy, they make it look like it goes on for thousands of miles in those movies, don't they? Just shooting it from every possible angle. So
it feels like 1,000 miles when you're on horseback.
Well, it's the desert. Speaking of Seraphis,
Yes.
how far is the desert from Adelaide?
It depends which one.
Which one?
What's the closest one?
No, that's an extinct volcano.
Everything is true. No, that's active. No, that's not a desert. That's just a Death Valley.
That's not the Death Valley. It's just one of.
It's just a Death Valley in Australia.
I don't know. I'd say about
15 minutes.
No. The roads go too along the coast, so there's too much, like, brush and stuff. You've got to actually get the roads that then go off from the coast before you just immediately hit that desert. So yeah.
Yeah, you're not that far. You're within 100 kilometers of it, right?
Oh yeah, easily within 100 kilometers. It also depends what you mean by desert.
Arid scrubland. Hot.
Arizona, but in your neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly. It's more poisonous.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, easily within 100 kilometers, probably 50k. Yeah.
I was partially waiting for you to say, "Oh, that's my back garden."
Well, technically, we are technically in, like, where I'm living now. Yeah, this was part of the outback about 70 years ago.
So you're living in reclaimed outback? Is that it?
Basically.
How much poisonous shit is in your yard?
Like, you don't have to get out and cut the grass, do you?
Oh no, it's because of all the development and stuff. Like, everything grows here now, so yeah. I have very thick grass. There's snakes that can hide in it now.
I mean, if you mow it occasionally, that usually helps. just
yeah, but it's got to stop raining for the lawnmower to actually be really, properly effective, and otherwise you're just making mulch
That's fair.
inside the lawnmower, and that's not good for it.
Yeah, that's not good.
I don't know. We don't have.
Kim making?
She's just puttering.
It's been a long time since I've heard a Kim jamboree.
Oh, apparently she's pre-prepping dinner.
12
Putting it-
hours in advance.
Yeah.
Wow, what's on the menu?
Pulled pork sandwiches, I think.
Cat is on the menu.
I sure hope
What?
it's not cat. Otherwise, Costco lied to us.
Well,
And we did buy them at Fry's. Anyways, regardless, yes, pulled pork sandwich.
my favorite thing about Costco is their refusal to make profit off of what they sell. That's still my favorite fucking business model of Costco. They make money off memberships, not off selling you shit. Isn't that cool? That's like kind of cool. Like,
I'm not following that logic, but okay.
so the guy who started Costco basically saw the government model. There was a government group for
Yeah.
government employees where basically what they were selling was always at cost wholesale price.
Yeah.
And the money was made off of the dues that were sent by the government for their people. Like, so if you worked for the government, you got a card to be able to go shop at this place, and the government had to pay them per member that they gave them, and that's how they made their money. So this guy went, this is a great fucking idea, but I want to open it up to the public, not just for government workers. So he did. First one failed because he got bought out, and then those guys started raising prices, and it failed. And then he teamed up with another guy, and he made Costco. And the entire point of Costco is they don't mark up the product. They're selling it to you for the price that they're paying for it, within a few cents, basically. And where they make their money is on the memberships everybody pays for to have access to be able to go into Costco and buy stuff. So their hot dogs have been $1.99 since they started.
$1.50.
Canada, they're $1. Yeah, in Canada, they're $1.99. In the States, they're $1.50. They've been $1.50 since they've been introducing them. These are big
40
fucking
years.
hot dogs. Every time they tried to push them to make the hot dogs more expensive, the owner would be like, fuck you, no, we're not doing that, to the point where when the company that was providing them with hot dogs decided to raise their prices to where it was going to be very cost ineffective, they built their own hot dog manufacturing plant to create hot dogs just for Costco to sell for $1.50 with a drink. Like, it's crazy. It's an amazing business model. That company makes billions of dollars a year all over the world. And it proves to you that people will pay for privilege, right? Everyone will pay for privilege. Everyone will pay a price to be able to have access to something that is of value to them, which is what most capitalists don't understand. Most capitalists think, squeeze every fucking penny out of it I can until it dies. And then when it's dead, start something else that I can kill over a period of time. While Costco continues to just survive and grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger, which is a great business model. There's a bunch of documentaries on YouTube about it.
My favorite, real quick, about that, look up the Fat Electrician and Costco, COSTCO.
Tell us.
It's hilarious. But
I know the Fat Electrician.
Right. No, but he did a video about Costco, and he covers most of what you said.
Oh, did he? Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. Like I literally assumed you had watched his video because like it was like every single one of those points. But
well, it's just there's a reason I know this shit, but it's not because of this guy.
But real quick about the hot dog being $1.50, literally for 40 years. So Craig Jelinek, the successor CEO, revealed in 2018 that he approached the founder about raising the price of the hot dog combo, saying, "Jim, we can't sell this hot dog for $1.50. We're losing our rear ends." According to Jelinek, Senegal replied, "If you raise the effing hot dog, I will kill you. Figure it out."
I just put the link for this video in the private chat Brian's referring to. The title is "The Most Gangster Grocery Store on Earth, Costco."
Yes.
Fucking tight.
The Fat Electrician is great, and he swears a lot.
That's all right.
But it's It's pretty funny, and it's a good breakdown. His video about Aldi is almost as good.
Aldi? What's Aldi?
Aldi, that's isn't that the German company?
Correct.
Yeah, that's the good grocery store that I was referring to earlier. We've got
Yeah.
one about 13 miles away.
You've got Aldi and
really?
you've got Lidl.
So apparently there's 2 Aldis in Germany
Yeah.
because there was 2 brothers that founded it. One wanted to sell cigarettes. The other didn't want to sell cigarettes. So they split the company into Aldi North and Aldi South. And one of them you can get cigarettes in and you can't get it in the other. Then they wanted to come to the US, but you can't have 2 companies named Aldi. So they created Trader Joe's. So if you ever go to Trader Joe's, that's Aldi. And if you ever go to Aldi, that's Aldi.
But isn't Trader Joe's like really expensive?
I don't know. I don't shop there.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just always heard that it's an expensive place to buy shit, right?
No, I think you're thinking of Whole Foods.
No, I know Whole Foods is an expensive place, but I remember Trader Joe's being considered like premium or something.
Yeah, it's weird because, but like you also can't get anything name brand at Trader Joe's. In my understanding, it's all
House brand
stuff. So
usually house brands. I mean, in Canada anyway, house brands are made by the name brands for them.
Right. I'm just saying
right.
we don't shop there, so I can't answer it.
American grocery stores are terrifying. When I was in Burlington, Massachusetts, when I was working with Keurig, and we had to go down to their head office and spend a week there, went to a grocery store just for fun. Jesus Christ.
Were you shocked by the number of different types of Captain Crunch?
I was shocked by the number of aisles. Like, never mind the products in those aisles. The fact that your average big Canadian grocery store might have 10 to 15 aisles of product.
Yeah.
And this thing had 30 fucking aisles of product. And it was just like...
But they are also kind of getting ridiculous. I mean, growing up, they weren't necessarily that big, but nowadays they've got clothes and
this was all groceries, man.
And
it wasn't clothes and electronics and shit like that. We have that here too. We have superstores that do that here too. This was just a fucking grocery store in Burlington, Massachusetts. I can't remember the brand name. It was a Massachusetts chain, and they had like it was 27 or 30 aisles of food. Just food, you know, and those aisles were like half a kilometer long when you got into them. They were insane, you know.
Yay, capitalism? I don't know.
Yay, consumerism. That said, the one thing I do love about going to the States is because I'm diabetic, I have to drink sugar-free for anything like your favorite type of caffeine, Brian. And here, when I go to the store, I might have like 4 or 5 choices, you know, like Sprite Zero, if they have it, Dr. Pepper Zero, whatever flavor Pepsi and Coke have put on the market this month, lime, black cherry, whatever. Okay. Go down to the States and go into any fucking grocery store, and there are like 30 fucking choices of zero sugar drink in the soft drink aisle. It's like Dr. Pepper with lime and cherry. What the fuck? Like it's madness.
It's really weird to actually see the number, like when the zeros, like, well, we'll just say like diet sodas. It used to be like the big brands would have a diet,
yeah,
but that was it. And now it's almost every single brand has a zero option with it, and
then flavored zero options as well. Like, how many fucking Dr. Pepper flavors are there now? It's insane. Like strawberries and cream diet Dr. Pepper. What the fuck?
Yes,
but yes, please give me that. You know. So, what are you doing?
Joy.
O'Neill Flynn, I'm gonna completely disagree. I am fat and I am trying to be less fat, so I like having all the zero options.
I do too. I absolutely do.
I just don't like the chemicals that they put in there. Aspartame, all that stuff. Nah.
So my aunt is a boomer fucking weirdo. And when she saw when I first got diagnosed as diabetic, she came into my house, and I had on the stairs, because I was in a basement where the stairs came right into my kitchen. I just put, like an old Italian man, I just put the 2-liter bottles up the stairs, and then I would just replace them as I would go to the grocery store. And she saw all this Diet Dr. Pepper, and she's like, aspartame. I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go do my research on aspartame. And I did. And the best research I found was the Canadian Diabetes Association, which isn't like the American Diabetes Association. This is actually like a public service here as opposed to a for-profit organization. Sure. And they had an article about aspartame, and they said, we do not want to recommend dangerous products to our members because that would be silly, because you would die, and we don't want to do that. So here's the science in the study we've done on aspartame. Yes, if you consume excessive amounts of aspartame, it is bad for you. But that excessive amount would be like the equivalent of drinking 4 to 6 2-liter bottles a day, every day of the week. Let's show you what other things, if you had that much of, would be bad for you. And they start putting like water. Like if you drank water, this is what would you get hydroquinone or whatever it's called, and this is bad for your kidneys, and this is this and this and this. So no, we don't think aspartame in moderation is bad for you, and there is no scientific proof. They did the same thing for margarine, because nothing makes the fucking woo-woo crowd happier than to get on the internet and talk about how margarine's going to kill you, and it's not even food, and aspartame's giving you brain lesions. But there's no science to back this shit up, or at least peer-reviewed science, right? But it takes leg, because people really want to believe that there's more garbage in the non-diet food. There's more additives in the regular processed food than there is in the diet stuff, and you're getting corn syrup in everything. I went to buy hamburgers.
And that's one of the reasons why we do like to shop at Aldi's, is because a lot of that is German import. It's imported from there, and they have a much more stringent ingredient guideline.
Yes, Europe is kind of anal about that shit.
And it's, I don't want to say that it's healthier, but I don't know. When you can read the ingredients and you can pronounce the ingredients
in German, no less.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It stands a little bit above what we can find in your general Walmart, grocery store.
I do agree. When you don't need a chemist degree to understand.
Right.
So I went to buy frozen hamburgers, one time for a party I was going to at barbecue. And I flipped the box over because I gotten into the habit of now reading carb counts on everything. And I was just like, hey, for fun, let's see how much carbs are in these all beef patties. Why are there 5 grams of carb in a beef patty that should have 0 carbs because it's pure beef? And then I read the ingredients list, and the second ingredient was high fructose corn syrup.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys know the story of how we got here, right? The sugar industry taking over the food and creating the food pyramid and all that bullshit in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Convincing Americans fat was bad for them, so you had to replace the fat with flavor, which was sugar, to give everything a fucking flavor. And then they figured out that high fructose corn syrup was cheaper than cane sugar, so let's go with that instead.
Yep.
And now we have epidemic diabetes, epidemic cancer, epidemic everything, right? It's all from what we eat. It's all from the food we're putting in our fucking bodies. And it's really, really hard. And then if you pay the health tax, which is go on the outside of the rows, right? Never buy from the inside. Always buy on the outer rows, where it's all Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm.
How much is your fucking grocery bill when you do that?
Yeah, it's through the roof.
It's through the roof. So you pay the healthy tax.
Mm-hmm.
So we're fucked in all ways, shapes, and forms. We're fucked. And at least in Europe, I got to give the European. I will never give the European Union much credit. But at least they aren't in the pocket of these fucking Procter & Gamble and stuff like that, who are making all of this money. Canada, we have a problem with that. Big problem with that. But our problem is like 1/10 of what your guys' problem is with that. What's it like in Australia? Do you guys have the same issue down there where the food companies have so much power they're getting away with tons of shit? Or is it like more like Europe where it's better controlled and regulated?
Oh, we're like Europe.
Super regulated.
Yeah, we're regulated. This is one of the reasons why I've said, like, I could not handle American food, because the crap that's in it, I would probably get sick from it.
You can taste it. I went to LA in 2002. I spent a week in LA for a video game we were working on, and everywhere I had beef, my buddy and I, who was also Canadian, we were like, what is that fucking flavor? Like every beef we had, be it from McDonald's or be it from like a steakhouse, had this weird aftertaste in the beef. And then did some research and found out it's all the fucking antibiotics they shove into their beef down there. We could taste them. You know what I mean? Like we're used to Canadian beef, which is pretty heavy fucking regulated beef. You know, our dairy and beef is insanely regulated in Canada.
And that's why a lot of people in America don't want to give up their guns, because they can use those guns to go hunt their own meat that hasn't been injected with all of that extra crap.
Except for when the entirety of society digs down and they're hunting other Americans who've been injected with that crap.
Well, I mean, you know, hey, you got to take the good with the bad. I mean,
that's fair. Oh yes, the double meat, Buffy. That episode, the double meat, which is the secret ingredient is beef. She thinks it's fucking humans. That was the best episode. Are mealworms really used for meat fillers, or is that an urban legend, O'Neill? I don't know. Is that true, or is that?
I would vote urban legend. I mean, maybe not. I think Kim found something the other day that was like, oh, contains, you know, cricket flour.
Oh, fuck.
Which is like...
So I'd always understood there's a ingredient in, and I'm actually going to look it up because I've just never done it. I've always been tempted to. An ingredient in a lot of products called erythrobates.
Sure.
And that I had always understood to be, of course, I can't even spell it. But I had always understood that was mealworm.
That's fucked up. That's really fucked up.
Also on this topic, this is why when Gus said that he's thinking about taking that trip to Australia, I recommended some foods to try when he's here, because I'd really like to know what the difference is.
Which I will totally do if we ever get to go.
Yeah.
Very annoyed with work on that.
Okay, so it says that there is no truth to this myth. Urban myth claims that sodium erythrobate is made from ground earthworms. However, there is no truth to the myth.
Fair.
So there we go.
There you go.
Next week on Mythbusters.
Next week on Talking Head Old Men. Well, some old men. And then there's Saxius, the young'un.
How old are you?
What, me?
Sax. Yeah.
I'm 31.
Oh, kid.
No.
Yeah.
Practically wasn't even born this century.
No.
Sir, how old are you?
I just about snuck over the millennia, and then there we go.
How old are you, Sarah?
39.
Okay, so you're still young. Brian, you're in your 40s.
I'm almost 50.
Almost 50. Brian, you're 50, right?
Yeah, I'm almost 51, yeah.
Yeah, I'm 54. And then this fucking junior over here.
All these kids.
What can I say?
But your accounting knowledge and stuff, it's so on par, man.
For what? For what being? What do you mean? Okay, no. Talk me through the logic here. How does me knowing Excel and accounting put me
Like
at an advanced stage?
Because for Gen X, that was lame shit our dads did.
well, I was gonna say that was what my mum did for a profession.
Okay.
Like her.
That's what my wife does.
That's what I do. So no, I think what it means. Okay, so this would be the best way to describe it. Excel, for the most part, has not changed since the 80s.
Yeah.
And in the older person's mind, we can understand how Excel works because we've been using it for decades.
I can't.
Why is there not a more modern? What's the right word?
There's a
more
modern version of Excel, but you don't want to use it.
Why?
No.
Why is that?
No, but
So Excel is your everyday. You know, you're going to be doing your accountancy. You can
Right.
put in your numbers. Then you've got Microsoft Database, which is the equivalent of like using industrial grade chemicals versus using your house equivalent of bleach.
Okay.
So like Microsoft database is where you take an absolute metric ton of data, you throw it into the blender, and it will spew out the results of what you are trying to go through. So you can go through, in my old job, I would go through the equivalent of like 20 to 30,000 lines of data, and it would be telling me exactly what I would be needing to look at for all of the various ships and the individual SKUs and POs that we needed to catch up on. Whereas Excel was, once we had done like a year's worth of data analysis, we could take the outliers of those, put that into Excel, and make a nice little pie graph that could then go like, here's where your problems are. So it depends on like what you really want to go for it. But like, I got into Excel since high school, and they were like, hey, do you want to learn how to use this, but like advanced calculators? I was like, that sounds fun. I got into, macro formulas, how you can set up basically your own. I've forgotten how you do what's it called? Your coding, so that you can then basically press a button in Excel. It opens up another software, and it will insert all the information. Go on, Bear.
In the immortal words of Ogre of the Alpha Beta House, nerd.
Where would you be without me?
I know, that's the worst part. You're so useful in your nerdery.
I mean, like, again, I'm gonna be the nerd and basically point to like, it's what I use for my D&D games when I DM.
Yeah,
like I generally just pop open Excel. It's like, okay, let's keep tracks of all this. Let's see what's happening here, and let's do things like that. Because this is
I mean, the only way to build a character sheet like a blank character sheet that you can print out for your friends, build it in Excel.
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
You've become a really good you've become adept at using that program.
Yeah, that's. I like to also use it so that I've got the economy all the way down to the city, all the way up to the kingdom or the region, and then I can like keep tabs of what's going on from there. But I know I'm boring Bear with this because I've gone on and on and on and on about this.
No, you're fucking useful to me. Shut up. You're absolutely heroic.
Well, and
I know I could be boring but still useful.
But
gentlemen,
cool,
I must take my leave of you because Eli's about to start his stream, and I did promise I would stop over and say hi this morning. So sadly, I'm going to take my vitriol and passion and opinions somewhere else, and you guys can talk about Excel.
No, lovely.
See you later,
Sarah, man. Thanks for having me on. Brian, always great to see you. Sax, always a fucking slice of pie, man.
See you, Bear.
Bye, guys.
So on the topic of Excel,
yes, go on.
It's also cool because what I like about it, you can have all your different columns, you can have all your different rows, but then sort them however the hell you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good program.
Filters. You could then create pivot tables, and you very easily visualize the data that you're trying to look, and it's a very easy way. Once you've just done the mind-numbing thing of like inserting all the data, once you've done that, you can very quickly start going in like what's the patterns, like basically do very easy like data analysis.
Well, and like the couple times that I've seen it used for like character sheets are like the ones from Palladium. They did one for Rifts and they did one for Palladium Fantasy. I do like the fact that it's like, oh, you can have multiple sheets. And so, okay, here's one for your skills. Here's one for your abilities. And you just start plugging everything in, and then it'll calculate and it'll dump everything on the actual character sheet.
It makes encumbrance so much easier just to keep up with. So just you put in like what does your character have? Like Bing, you're now encumbered by a small amount. Your movement now goes down by X, by so on and so on, and it allows you to keep that balance. Or you can then say override by X amount, but then give a warning of whatever you need.
Right.
It's the versatility that you can have with Excel it's awesome, and it means you can customize it to whatever you need. So yeah, I use it a lot. I use it a lot because I like to use what's it called, like stars without number, see no mean, where you can basically build a faction, and then those factions can have like their own conflict going on in the world, and then I can use that to basically sort of like keep the world moving. So, the players might have been out for like 3 weeks doing dungeon delving or whatever they've been doing, and then they come back and it's like, well, the big players have been doing their own thing, and like you've now got to come back in and deal with that. And it allows me to keep track of it, but I can also then see when players decide like, okay, we're going to do something against this faction. They can target specific units or items that the faction has, and then have an impact for the overall, game.
There was also a Excel character creator for 3.5 as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, with 3.5, it almost became a requirement given the volume of things that they pumped out. But then, that just simplifies it, because once you've got everything like in one space, it's a very easy way of like just doing calculations of what you need. But at the end of the day, it's just there to make it easy. Grumpy's asking a question of Excel versus LibreOffice. Well, I think it's a question of it's a question of preference. LibreOffice, I believe, is the free to use version. I use Excel because it's what I've been primarily trained in, but most companies I work for, they pay the license and the computer.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
My main issue with stuff like that, I'm very hesitant on open source software. Just because so I work in server support.
Yep.
And the number of times that there will be issues on Windows servers.
Yeah.
But on Linux servers, and it's like, oh, so we're using this, and then there's this plugin and this thing, and we've added this piece of software, and the number of times it's like, oh, this piece of software, that was like completely vulnerable, and so every single virtual private server on our network has now been compromised because everything is running this piece of software, because somebody wasn't watching and maintaining it. Whereas,
or whoever developed it is, they stopped developing it 2 years ago and never told anybody. And now, because it's open source, I'm not going to look through 23,000 lines of code or 500,000 lines of code just to find that 16 character string that says, if they click this combination of keys, then do this.
Right.
You're not going to catch that.
No. Right. And another good example, like 90% of the internet is WordPress. Okay.
Yeah.
And the number of times that I deal with a customer, they're like, oh, well, my website's compromised. It's like, yeah, it sure is. Because number one, everybody uses WordPress, so everybody gets targeted. But then number two, it's like, when was the last time your plugin that you updated your plugins? Oh, I update every week. Okay, great. You make sure that they're all updated every week. When was the last time they were actually updated? Oh, you're running a plugin from 2002? I wonder why that might be vulnerable now that, the coding is 20 years out of date.
Well, but to be fair, what was it? Cloud, what was CloudStrike? Yeah, from just a few weeks back. Yep. And that was a legitimate, Microsoft
program. No, that was a CloudStrike problem.
Or I mean, that's what I mean. But no, but what I mean is a lot of Microsoft computers were using CloudStrike, as a plugin. So I mean, nothing is
sure
impervious.
Well, on the topic of CloudStrike, see, when that happened, me working in international shipping and freight forwarding, we had a number of trucks that arrived at the customs stop with the customs officers just leaning out the window going, yeah, no, you're going to have to wait. So it's one of those situations where...
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it was just, everything just ground to a halt right there. Because no one could make it work. We just waited until CloudStrike got their shit up and running, and it was just, yeah.
Well, and so here's the interesting thing about that. So if you looked into it, the fix for the whole CrowdStrike problem was like super simple.
Mhm.
It was, okay, you've got to boot your computer. I mean, for an average user, probably not, but let's be honest, an average user isn't going to be using CrowdStrike anyways. So no big deal. But it was boot your computer into safe mode, go into your directory, like, and it literally walked you through. It's like, here, this directory, find this file, delete it. And if you do that, then everything starts up normally. The problem is, if you're running CrowdStrike, it's because you're trying to secure all of your systems and all of your computers. So any of you that have work computers, how much administrative access do you have on that machine? Can you install a program? Can you boot into safe mode? Can you do anything like that? Of course not.
Right.
So, like the fix literally couldn't be implemented by an average user, and that's why everything was hit so hard, and lasted so long, because they couldn't get Dave to every single machine to fix them.
No, it was just it was also just funny because again that was the solution, but then you've also got the whole thing of like it is one of those few moments where we actually saw world, or at least within Europe, trade ground to a halt because there were so many customs brokers, sites, and warehouses that just basically went, yeah, we by law we're not, like, the trucks came in and they were like, you can come in, but you're not allowed to leave. The moment you drive past that barrier, you are stuck here. Because you've got goods in there that's not been declared to, but that's not been cleared by customs, meaning you have to hand in your keys and you're just going to be stuck in the bay until we fix this.
Actually, one other funny thing about the whole CrowdStrike incident, good friend of mine worked for CrowdStrike as like a sales guy. So he would go to the universities and the big companies and whatnot and tell them, hey, you should sign up for CrowdStrike.
Yeah.
So when that all hit, I messaged him and I'm like, dude, hope everything goes fine for you with this whole CrowdStrike nonsense. He replies back, he's like, actually, I started my new job 2 weeks ago.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
And when I messaged him, I'm like, he's probably got a new job and he just hasn't told us yet.
So. That's like a couple of years back, there was like this world cyber attack that came out from, like, I don't know if it was Ukraine or Russia, where one of the top 10 shipping companies called Maersk was hit by it. And the IT security guy at the office I worked in basically came down and told everyone, shut down your computers, pull out the Ethernet cable, like, you do not be online. And it was just one of those moments, like, everyone just did it. We knew something bad was happening. Word quickly came out that, like, one of our offices in Mexico had been hit, and there was like 50 computers that were infected, and they were being held hostage. Our servers were being infiltrated. It was an absolute nightmare. We ended up all being sent home. Came back the following day, and the 200 IQ IT security guy had gone through every single computer, turned them on, and said, like, has this one been infected? Oh, it has now. Okay. And it just sort of continued. And we just went, okay, now our premise has been infected. We can't do anything. Well, we turned around to the management. It was like, so what's the backup plan? It's like, we have it. And they came out with this dusty old piece of paper. Just, we have, like, off somewhere in like the suburbs, we have basically rented for like years and years these like garage computer offices that's meant to be maintained in the event of a doomsday. So in the event that like the entire infrastructure falls down, these places are meant to be there for us to basically go to. So we were all just bust out into the middle of nowhere, crammed into these like not even cubicle level, just like shoulder to shoulder. And where we then learned that, like, even though they had like paid for like years of IT maintenance, the guys who oversaw it, like, they never took it seriously. So we showed up, like, all 50 of us, and the IT guys, they were like, oh, we thought it was a joke, but okay. They now had to go through 50 computers and get them up to date so that we could continue with the shipping. But it's just like,
actually, that makes me wonder, because who I work for well, we basically have next to no U.S. call center operations, like outside of my team and like a couple of others. But like we used to have big call centers, and so they had that offsite location, which occasionally I got threatened that we'd have to go and test working out from there, but we never got sent. But I know other people that did. But yeah, it was the same kind of thing. It was just crappy little setup, just enough for people to do work and keep everything going. But
no, it was
I wonder
great.
if they keep it now.
Yeah.
So,
I know at least in my old job's case, like it's still there. It's still being stress tested every so often. Ever since they now learned that like the site doesn't actually maintain the updates because they were just like, they're just like, they're literally just paying for like space and like we don't have to do anything. So it's like
the IT manager has been sufficiently chastised.
I didn't hear what the fallout was, but I can imagine that there was definitely someone that was being pulled into an office somewhere because that was because it was in the middle of summer, which again, UK standards, when it's like 28 degrees, we've got no air conditioning, no fans, and you've got 50 people crammed into like small rooms. It's not very pleasant. But yeah.
Oh no, 28 degrees. That was today's weather, and it's winter.
Say what you will about America, we have air conditioning everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I just got to replace mine.
Lovely.
It was like buying a new car. I would have rather bought a new car.
Oh, Christ. I know that definitely. But that's an experience. I mean, again, that side by side was just something else because we basically had to revert back to not even like the 1990s, it was like the 1980s with like printing out paper to keep on track of like what ships were coming in. We had to phone into the harbor and go, has the ship arrived? Have the containers come off? With the harbor master basically going like, stop phoning us. We don't like this. Go on our website. It was like, we can't. It was to the point of ludicrousy where I had to bring my personal printer to work because we needed to just print, and we had to bring in our private laptops and computers. It was absolute insanity. We had other companies straight up tell us like we will not accept Gmail accounts emailing us.
It's all I have.
Pretty much like I asked one of them like, what can we do? And he said, you could fax us. And one of my colleagues went, what the hell's a fax? I'm like, oh God, this hell. I was like, I know what it is. I've never done it, but I'm going to try. So I asked them for the number, and then the guy on the other side just went, I don't know what the number is. I'm like, this is not helping. I have to do something, and you can't tell me what number to send it to. Oh, it was great. It was a make or break character moment.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Seraphis, how are you still awake?
I mean, that's a really good question. I think it's the Indian food that isn't sitting with me.
Oh, Christ.
I tried a new place, and I'm
regretting it.
I'm not quite regretting it, but
was it good going down?
Yes.
That's all.
But once it all got into my stomach, that's when the uncomfortableness started.
We don't talk about that.
Phase 2 began.
Yeah, but
Phase 2.
That's why my hands are on top of my head, because I'm trying to
push it down, keep it pushed down.
Just down. Christ. Oh boy.
Oh, fantastic.
So question for a lot of you. Favorite RPG systems that you're enjoying or that you want to enjoy? Or am I asking the hard questions here?
So currently I go through ebbs and flows,
Right.
at different points. But right now, I'd say probably my favorite system that I'm running is Dragonbane.
All right. Yeah.
It's just it's simple. It's a fun little system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Simple
I like
system.
reading through that one.
Awesome.
So I am kind of confused. They put out the new core rulebook, and like I honestly can't figure out what the difference is between the box set and why I would want that book over the box set.
The box set has like little cardboard figures in it, little plastic stands. It's got a map, but it also has a book of adventures, a miniature book of monsters, and quick rule set on how to solo play. And I don't know that just the core rule book, I don't know that it includes all of those extras. So the box set, I mean, you just get some extras.
Right. No, that's why I'm saying, why would I get the core book instead of the box set? Because I was literally digging through, and I think it's identical.
There's a couple of small, like, I think I did a comparison, side by side comparison, and I think that so there's two versions of the rule book, and I think one of them has just been an updated version of it that includes, like, in the index or in the table of contents, like 2 additional pages, but it's not that the book itself doesn't have additional pages. They've just included subheadings in the table of contents to include that information in the table of contents. I don't know. I mean, I think the only reason that I would opt to get the book as opposed to the box set, I don't know that there's a price difference, but like if I don't need, all the miniatures because I've got a shit ton of them to begin with, that would be one thing that I just don't need to worry about. You can download the adventures, I think, for free.
Well,
off of their website.
Looking at it right now, real quick, the new core rulebook has one extra adventure, the Castle of the Robber Knight, over the rulebook from the box set. And then the box set has all of the extra other stuff plus the extra book of adventures. So, like, literally, anyone who's considering Dragonbane based off of Brian's suggestion, go get the box.
Yeah, pretty much.
Service.
I mean, Fantasy Age 2nd edition. I really want to be playing that.
Yep.
But between fortnightly 3.5 games that I'm going to be a player in, and the absolute chaos that is a 3 and 4 year old trying to run a game that's at this location is quite difficult.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I remember.
And unfortunately, Grim is one of my players as well. So, it's not like I can say, Grim, go, distract the children for, a couple of hours. She's one of the players too. So,
right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean,
so me, I just want to. I'll play anything. I'm in a bit of a funk right now where I'm just like, I'm just gonna kind of sit over here. But ask Brian and Seraphis. I keep going to the used bookstore and finding things.
Yeah.
So
goddamn.
That amazes me that's a thing in America, that you can go to a used bookstore and find role-playing products.
Well, you can at the used bookstore that I go to. Apparently, Brian, can't find anything equivalent.
Well, we don't have a used bookstore here, so the closest I have is Goodwill, and Goodwill in America for you guys it's basically I've got a bunch of crap that I don't want anymore, so I'm going to donate it to this place, and then they're going to turn around and sell it so that they can give the money to homeless
Charity,
families and charity and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just rare to find any books that
I only know of one friendly local gaming store that's anywhere nearby me. That's it. I can go to one place and they've got one section where they've got role-playing games, and even that's just like a shotgun scattering of just like whatever it was that they fancied on getting that month. Like there's no consistency. It's just like what's on the shelf is on the shelf. The rest, it's board games.
Are you in London or somewhere else in the UK?
So I live near a city called Bath or Bristol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I went to Bath.
Oh, lovely.
Actually, literally right next door to the Jane Austen Center in Bath.
Yeah. No, I know exactly where you are. There's you've got like the green square, like with what's called. It's like not even a park, but like a place where you can be, and it's right like diagonally over where you can have the Jane Austen. Yeah.
Right. So, but the Jane Austen Center in Bath, literally right next door to it is a board game cafe.
Yes, that's it. That's where I go.
Okay,
that is where I go. That is literally where I go.
That's awesome. Yeah, we when we were there, we showed up to take Kim to the Jane Austen Center, and they're like, "No, we're closing." It's like, why? Your sign says that you're open for a while longer, and she's like, "Yeah, no, we just started our winter hours, and they didn't change the sign." I'm like, "That's not fair." I drove from Southampton, but yeah. So it's like, well, we're gonna go into the board game cafe and check it out.
That place, yeah.
That's like that reminds me. When we're doing the stream, I guess yesterday for you, but this morning for me, GameMasters. You were asking me about like going to a local game store and like flicking through that, and it occurred to me that I've now got 3 within 10 minutes of me.
Nice. So we have one that's local here. They have maybe a 1.5 foot wide by 3 rows up bookshelf where they have front facing books of D&D. So they're not like, put in there like this and then stacked, they're like this, and they may have 2 copies. And so you get maybe 2 facings of the book, and then the next shelf down is 2 facings, and then the next shelf down is 2 facings. They're all different books. But it's all, current stuff. So you might go in and see, Vecna, you might see, or, Vecna Eve of Ruin, you might see, Quest from the Infinite Staircase, you might see, whatever came out previous to that. But for the most part, they do Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and what other Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
and there's a whole lot of anime that happens in there, and they've got a couple of monitors with kids playing video games. So it's really less of a tabletop role-playing scene and more of we're catering to the 13, 14, 15-year-olds that are into anime.
Well, yeah, but that sounds where you're going to get more money because they're going to be coming in with money from either their parents or they're going to be. You're going to be having you wouldn't even go for like the early 20s because again they've just going to get out and get their jobs. They haven't even gone there yet, so you're either going to be having gone.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say now if I hop in the car and do a 3-hour drive, then that opens up to possibly 3 more stores, but that 3-hour drive is my center point, and it might be 3-hour drive this way to get to this store, or from my center point, a 3-hour drive this way to get to this store, or a 3-hour drive. Actually, it'd be a 5-hour drive to go this way to get to this store. So it's just not convenient.
No, I know what you mean.
Well, and even if it was convenient, one of the biggest problems is that, like, if I go to a store, if they have role playing, they have D&D.
Yeah,
they might have Pathfinder, and then you're lucky if there's something else.
Right.
Well, I know at least the friendly local the flag that I go to, they are trying to promote for game masters to come in and run games because again that's how they will earn money by people coming in renting a table.
Right.
So they're willing to basically say, listen, we'll give you the table for free if you run this, and we'll give you, soft drinks for free as the game master. But then all your players then have to pay for the food and drinks and so on. Then that's how they will generate their money. But they're hungry to get game masters in for role playing games. The problem is they target those gaming sessions to be on the work weeks, so like a Tuesday or a Thursday, where it's having like a 3-hour session. Let's say you finish at like 5 or 5:30. You're gonna want at least like 45 an hour to have dinner,
Right.
and shower, go there. So you're looking at like starting at 7, so
And-
7 till 10, and then it's just straight home to bed.
And nothing in the UK is open past 6 anyways.
Exactly. It's just like everyone's just inside. Like the streets just closed down. There's not even lights. You have to get out with your torches.
Right. Like the old flame ones, not the flashlights.
Exactly. Exactly. We've still got like lamps where they're just connected to the sewer system to use those methane gases. People on stilts walking along with candle lights.
I approve this message. Okay. On that note, I am actually going to have to bounce out as well. I still have to get my socks and shoes on because we got church in 8 minutes. Luckily, it's only 2 minutes away.
That's one thing we're not lacking of. If you want to go to a church, we probably have 50 of them. No bookstore. But
See,
if you want to get
South
religion
Australia is the city of churches, so we've got plenty of those too.
and banks, we have lots of banks, churches and banks.
Churches.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like the nearest church would probably be towards the nearest city, but then if I go the opposite direction towards my in-laws, I know there's a church that's been converted into a house. So it's
that's that'll get okay. I gotta go because that'll totally get me spiraled onto another topic, and I will run out of time.
All right.
But I will say real quick, that actually does make me sad. Like just those old English churches that are just like, meh, sell it off, and somebody turns it into a house or whatever.
Oh, wait till I tell you about the ones that's been turned into clubs in Denmark.
Okay, well, we know what next week's conversation is going to be about.
All right. Have a great day, kids. Thank you.
See you,
Ron.
Oh dear. It's funny. We've got some churches that have been converted here as well.
Yeah.
One of them used to be. One is next door to my old doctor's clinic that I used to go to.
Yeah.
And it's a pharmacy. This old, this is like 120-year-old church is now a pharmacy. And there's one in like near the CBD in Adelaide that is it's like a pub or something now. It's some kind of like gathering place.
Yeah.
They regularly have things, but yeah, it used to be a church too. And it was built back in those days when like every block had to have a church on it.
Yeah.
Basically. So yeah,
I know we've got I took my parents to a restaurant called the Slug and Lettuce. That's a chain, but when we went in there, we quickly we realized, oh wait, this is a former church because it still had like the colorful like murals or like the thing with like with the glasses. So it's just like, okay, so you've got like the bar over there, the dance floor right over there, serving in pub food, and then the holy ghost and spirit up there looking down upon us.
Oh, well, that's better than the Slug and Lettuce we've got here. The one closest to us has Nazi paraphernalia.
Oh no, you're joking.
No.
Oh my god.
And it's displayed in a way where I can't tell whether it's meant to be like war trophies or bragging. you could look at it as both ways, and I'm really worried about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. Wow. I've got nothing, man. that right there, that shut down that entire conversation. I don't even know where to take it. Oh, jeez.
Don't want to account for that.
No.
Well, it is getting close to 1 a.m. here. I should probably
let's
think about...
actually call it. It was a lot of Brian. It was very nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too, Oscar.
Thank you.
And I always enjoy talking and chatting or texting with you, Sax. So it's great having you on.
Thank you for having me on. Yeah, even though it's a bit of a topic ADHD, just bouncing all over the place.
No, that's
that's the format.
That's the whole format of this.
Yeah. It's like, come on, it's like whatever comes out, it's now on the floor. We're talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was basically I started talking about mechanists, and like by 20 minutes in, I'd say the Bryans were talking about cake.
Yeah. Cake versus pie. Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. I can see that topic.
Yeah. So,
Anyway.
yeah.
I'll call it as well. So,
All right.
take care, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, yeah. So this has
Back
been
to
fun,
us.
hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it has been. And I think that's one of the neat things I like about this format is, just talk about random stuff. I mean, this is so when I had a game store, that was always one of my favorite elements to it is we'd have people that would just walk in, show up, join in the conversation, and it just shifted dramatically from, whether we were talking about miniatures, painting miniatures to, the new FAFSA role-playing game to the new, or FAFSA role-playing game to what movie you all saw last night, to, oh yeah. And then afterwards we went to this bar and had this drink, and, just the conversation just naturally morphs. And
yeah.
I don't know. That's what I really like this, because it's very reminiscent of just the goofy geeks standing around BSing with each other.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I think part of the whole idea of doing this was inspired by that too, because that is my memory back in the day.
Yeah.
When, the internet was still relatively new, and, you got most of your information by going in stores.
Right.
Talking with the other geeks and kind of finding out what's going on,
Right.
Store owners usually had a lot more information about, what products were coming in and whatnot, what they'd just seen, stock wise that would be coming, that kind of stuff, and you could go from, oh, we're chatting about minis, and then someone be like, oh, actually on minis, this miniature game, do you know if that's coming out? And always fun.
Oh yeah, always fun.
Although I don't remember any conversations, as I said, going into cakes versus pies, but
we occasionally would. I mean, it would be, hey, which pizza joint, has the best pizza, or, somehow topic of food would pop up at some point in our conversations.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, this has been Talking Drek. This is the introduction, as usual. Seraphis and Brian, and we had other Brian and Bear and Sax. So that's who everyone has been tonight. Everyone else is gone because we scared them off. And at some point, I'll just randomly end this stream.
Like in the middle of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
It feels right, because what if we start talking about like something like FAFSA? Like, for example, it only just recently occurred to me that FAFSA was responsible for both BattleTech and Shadowrun when I started, and now Catalyst has both of them, and I'm quitting both of them.
Really?
Yeah, like absolutely pisses